Josh is up next. Go ahead, Josh.
Hi, I'd like to ask Denise a few questions. The first question, I guess, is when can we expect to live in a country that has no national debt? We can stop actually borrowing money instead of using the taxes that we collect to pay off a debt that is calculated with compounding interest that it almost makes it impossible to pay off. And my second question, when the income tax was originally introduced, it was supposed to be a temporary measure to fund the war effort. Once we actually eliminate the debt, wouldn't not it be possible to live in a country without punitive income tax collected on threat of force and violence? Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Josh.
Well,
someone's concerned about the future and the debt load.
And I think a fair question on the debt load. I would suggest that it's a necessary part to offset some of the services that we say we need, and I believe that we do need.
And the national debt, do you think we will get rid of it in our lifetime?
I'm not a finance expert, and so I don't know if I could speak to that. But I certainly think that what we have committed to is eliminating that deficit within 5 years. I think there's a difference. We should distinguish between deficit and debt load, and what we're committing to do is to eliminate the deficit. I can't think of anyone in the country who either doesn't have a mortgage of some kind to pay for housing or borrow money to, for something important in their lives. I don't think it's a question of debt. It's the amount of debt, and when you go into deficit, and particularly into a structural deficit. When we talk about debt, we should talk about the kinds of debt that we're accumulating, because there's a huge deficit there that we're leaving for kids. All of us value certain services, whether it's universities. What first world country can get along without a good educational system? Roads. So those are things that we depend on to be productive, to live in our society. So nobody would argue that government should stop collecting taxes.
So the income tax is here to stay.
Yeah, nobody would argue that government should stop collecting taxes. Nobody would argue that government should stop collecting taxes. Nobody would argue that government should stop collecting taxes.